So in this video, I'm going to explain what average value is, and then also do the 4 average value questions in the packet. So average value is a little bit different than kind of finding the average. So if we normally want to find the average of numbers, we add them all up and we divide by how many there are. But we run into problems when there's too many possibilities for what we're talking about to add them all up. So for example, if we want to find the average temperature over a day's time, the temperature, there's too many possible temperatures to add them up. The temperature could possibly change every minute or even more. And so instead, we can use calculus to find that average value over like a continuous function. So if I have a continuous function, how we find the average value is we take the definite integral from a to b, and then we divide by b minus a. So, or you can also say you multiply by 1 over b minus a. So this is the same thing. Some places write it like this, is taking the integral and then dividing by b minus a. Now, in terms of geometrically, what this means is if this is my graph of my function, we're kind of trying to find like the average height over this interval from a to b. And if you found that average height, which is considered the average value, what happens is if this is that average height of my function, this average value, what will result is if you took the area of the rectangle from this height and between A and B, that area is going to be the exact same thing as the area under the curve. So the area of this rectangle, which goes both above and below the curve, is the exact same area as the area under the curve between A and B. And this area here is going to be the same as the area above the rectangle. And so when we use this formula, I'm finding kind of the average height of my function. So I'm finding this h value, this average h value. So the area of the rectangle is the same as the area under f. And so h times b minus a is going to equal the definite integral from a to the b f of x dx. And if you solve this formula for h, you get that formula for average value that we said. 1 over b minus a times the integral of a over b f of x dx. And that's called the average value of f on a to b. So that's kind of the geometric. Just remember, average value represents a y value or the height of the function. So the average value of a position function f is the height h of the rectangle whose area is the same as the area under the graph f. Okay, so let's just do an average value problem. So it says find the average value of the function f of x equals 6x cubed on the interval 1, 4. We just use that formula. So it's the formula for average value is again 1 over b minus a times the integral from a to b of f of x dx. And a is the start of my interval, b is the end. So this would be 1 over 4 minus 1, the integral from 1 to 4 of 6x cubed dx. Okay, so 6x cubed would be 6x to the 4th over 4. And 1 over 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so if I simplify this, you can either multiply this out all first, or you can find the integral and then multiply by 1/3. It doesn't matter. I guess if I follow the order of the operation, I would do my full integral first and then multiply by 1/3. Okay, so 6 over 4 are both divisible by 2, so it's like 3 over 2. And then I would plug in 4 to the 4th minus, and then I would do 3 over 2 times 1 to the fourth. Okay, and I'm just gonna type this all in at one time. So I have 3/2, 4 to the fourth, minus 3/2 times 1 to the fourth. I mean, you can just put 1 because it's gonna, or just 3/2 because it's gonna come out to 3/2. So I get 382.5, and then I'm gonna multiply that by 1/3. All right, and I get 127.5. Because it's a decimal that terminates, you can put 127.5, or you can write it as a fraction. Okay, now if you did, just to show you kind of quickly, if I did from this step here, um, 1/3 times 6/4. Right, I just get 0.5 or 1/2. So if I made this 1/2 x to the fourth and then plugged 1/4, I should get the same thing. Okay, and I get the same thing, 127.5. So it's whichever way you want to do it. You can simplify it either way and you get the same answer. But that's how you find the average value. And then in the next video, I'll do some applications with the average value.